Good morning, students. Welcome back. So today we plan to continue with our discussion on AS 11. Yeah. So we are discussing about the accounting requirement in respect of foreign currency transactions. Okay. So that was about AS 11. Now, how the foreign currency transactions are required to be recorded uh, in respect of foreign currency denominated balances, if at all the entity has got, how those are required to be restated. Yeah, so that's what we plan to discuss, continue today. Okay, now quickly, let's do a quick recap. In relation to foreign currency transactions, we discussed that whenever there's a foreign currency transaction, so what do? You are required to restate that. You are required to record that or using the spot rate. Spot rate means the rate of the date of transaction. Okay. Further, in respect of foreign currency denominated monetary assets or monetary liabilities, what do? You restate them. And when you restate them, you will use the rate of the date when you restate them. Correct. Which is called as the balance sheet date or the reporting date. Yeah. And when you restate them, so at the time of restatement or due to this restatement, if there is any gain or loss, where do you take it? It goes to P&L. Okay. Now, in relation to the types of operations which the entity can have, once again, we can have this bifurcation of operations of the entity into two categories. One that you call as domestic operations. Second, which you may call as foreign operations. Foreign operation means outside the country. Correct? So now this foreign operation could be in the form of a subsidiary, associate, JV, or a branch. Yeah. So any of these ways could be there. So operation means any operation. Say for a branch, any business unit which the entity has got. Yeah. If that is outside the country of the reporting entity. So let's suppose there is an Indian company. It is a branch, say in Japan. So what do you call it as? Foreign operation, right? If let's suppose this is a subsidiary, say in UK, so you call it as foreign operation. Ishan has a query. Ishan is asking, is the foreign exchange difference and no, they are different. We'll talk about it. Okay. We'll talk about it. Okay. Yeah. So as of now, what we have discussed, Ishan, is foreign exchange difference. That is what you call as foreign exchange gain or loss, right? So that's something that we have discussed so far. Okay. Now, in relation to these foreign operations, now there's one more part we need to understand, and that is in relation to their categories, or you can say the types. So these foreign operations could be of two types. One that you call as integral, and second is non-integral. Okay. Yeah. Now, what is the meaning of integral? Integral means something which is very much a part of the entity, or which is nothing but an extension of the entity's operations. For example, a branch. So will you consider branch as a part of the entity or not? Tell me. Branch is very much a part of the entity or not? Yeah. That's why branches will be considered as integral foreign operation. Now, as against that, there could also be some foreign operations which are non-integral. Now, what is the meaning of non-integral? Something which is not an extension of the reporting entity. Right? Now, in relation to assessment of whether that is integral or non-integral, once again, we have some criteria which is available. Now, what is that criteria? So there are few ways through which we can find out. See, when it comes to the integral foreign operations, so for integral, you will see that they are generally dependent on the branch, dependent on the parent. For example, a branch. In case of integral, you will find a lot of transactions between the head office and the integral foreign operation. Integral foreign operations, you will find they generally do not maintain their own cash flows. What do? They will repatriate that to the head office. Autonomy is missing in case of integral foreign operations. If let's suppose any funding is required, any sort of money is required, so integral will be dependent on the parent, or you can say the head office. So that's how the integral operations work. Now, as compared to integral, when you look at non-integral, so they have got autonomy. Okay, they maintain their own cash flows. They are not dependent on the parent, or you can say the head office. Yeah, so that's a difference, you can say, between integral and non-integral foreign operations. Now, why is this segregation of foreign operations as integral or non-integral important to us? So what's the relevance of this? Now, because integral foreign operation is nothing but a part of the entity, yeah, as we discussed, is nothing but a part of the entity. It's like an extension of the reporting entity's operations. Okay, so that's why any change in the exchange rate affects individual monetary items held by the foreign operation. So you can say it is considered as if it's a part of the reporting entity itself. Okay, so it's considered as if it's a part of the reporting entity itself. In which case, what do you do? So this following criteria you'll have to look at. Individual items in the financial statements of integral foreign operations are translated as if all its transactions had been entered into by the reporting entity itself. Cost of tangible fixed assets, depreciation is translated using the exchange rate at the date of purchase or the date of transaction. Okay. In there's a valuation in the asset. So what do? You will translate that using the rate that existed on the date of valuation. Cost of inventories is translated at the exchange rates that existed when these costs were incurred, means on the purchase date. Okay. If let's suppose there is a realizable value of the asset and which has been considered, for example, in case of inventory, you record them at NRV. So what do? Realizable value of the asset is translated using the exchange rate that existed when the recoverable amount or the NRV was determined. For example, when the NRV of inventory is determined in a foreign currency, that value is translated using the exchange rate at the date as at which NRV is determined. means 31st March. Yeah. Now, this is the aspect that you consider in case of foreign integral operations. So in a way, you can say that whenever you will have any foreign integral operation, so you'll apply the same translation criteria which you will follow for the reporting entity. Now, what is the criteria for the reporting entity? Record any foreign currency transaction at the date of transaction. And then, as at the reporting date, translate any monetary asset or monetary liability. Yeah, so these two are the principles. So the same thing you will apply to foreign integral operations. Same thing, no change. Okay, so you can say that in a way, same accounting requirement will be followed for foreign integral operations. Same means something that we discussed in the previous session. Okay. Now, when it comes to non-integral foreign operations, in this case, translation criteria will be different. Now, what is that criteria? In this case, when you have non-integral foreign operation, so all of their assets, all of their liabilities, whether they are monetary or non-monetary, now this is important, whether they are monetary or non-monetary, irrespective of that, what do? You will convert them at closing rate. All of them will be translated, all. When it comes to the P&L items, okay, any P&L item. So what do? All of them you will convert at the rate of the date of transaction. So the standard says that for P&L items, it's practically difficult. Huh? For a company, it's practically difficult to apply the rates of dates of transaction to P&L items. Why? Because during the year, there could be thousands, hundreds or lakhs of transactions. So that's why in this case, instead of using the rate of date of transaction, you can also use average rate. Okay. So standard allows this. You can also use average rate. Now, in this case, one problem is going to arise. Okay, so when you look at the trial balance, when you translate that, so one sort of situation is going to arise. So let's discuss that as to how do you deal with that. Just give me a minute. Okay, and we'll just try to discuss this with the help of then one example. Okay, say for example, you have a non-integral foreign operation, right? Now let's suppose it's a branch, or say it's a subsidiary, whatever be the case. You have foreign operation, correct? Its books of accounts are prepared, let's suppose in USD. Okay. So if you look at its trial balance, okay, so it will have various assets. Then there will be various liabilities. Yeah. And then there will be a lot of P&L items. Correct. let's suppose this is the trial balance of this foreign operation in USD. Yeah. Now what is our objective? Our objective is to convert this from USD to INR. That's the objective. Okay. Now, please remember we are looking at the trial balance. Okay. So trial balance has to match. Yes or no? Trial balance has to tally. So if you look at any trial balance, that must tally. Yes or no? Quickly, over to you. So if you look at various line items in the trial balance, what is the rule of a trial balance? It must tally. Correct? Yeah, so that rule you need to remember. Okay. So now, in this case, now what we are going to do is we are going to convert all of these assets, all of these liabilities using closing rate. Right? So let's suppose closing rate was 86. Fine. So you multiply all of these items by 86 and you get the amount. And then what do? All the items of P and L will be converted using average rate. Now, what is the meaning of average? You may be thinking. So average, you can say, is the average of full year. So full year, various rates which are there, you will pick up and you will take the average. So let's suppose average rate works out to 85.5. Correct? Yeah. So now, in this case, tell me one thing, that when you convert all of these items, okay, some you will convert using the closing rate, some of them you will convert using the average rate. So now the trial balance that you get in INR, do you think it will tally? Just think about it and then let me know. Do you think it will tally? Logically, just think about it. Will it tally? Rohan, Charandeep, they are saying no. Why will it not tally? Because some items you are multiplying with one rate and some items you are multiplying with a different rate. Yeah. So there is a difference which is going to get generated. Yes or no? Yeah. And this difference which is going to get generated, we understand the reason for this difference. Can you say that this difference will be an error? Can you say that this difference will be an error? No, because we know what we are doing and we understand. Accounting standard says that some items you will convert using closing rate, some items you will convert using average rate. So that's why a difference is going to generate this one. And this is what you call as FCTR. Foreign currency translation reserve. Okay. Clear on this? Yeah. So this difference that you get is called as foreign currency translation reserve. Everyone clear? Clear on this? Yeah. Now, please remember this FCTR you will get in case of no integral foreign operation. You will not get in case of integral foreign operation. Yeah. Why? Because the way you translate integral foreign operation is different. Okay, so that's different. Clear? All right. So now what we will do is we'll pick a few questions. Okay, just to get into the details of this concept. Okay, so let's pick up one question now. Okay, so let's look at this one now. This is more of conceptual, more of theory. Assets and liabilities and income and expenditure items in respect of foreign branches. Integral one. Okay, integral one. Are translated into Indian rupees at the prevailing rate of exchange at the end of the year. The resultant exchange difference in the case of profit is carried to other liabilities account, and the loss, if any, is charged to the statement of profit and loss. You need to comment on this. Over to you. Do you think this is appropriate? Tell me quickly. Do you think this is appropriate? So Ishan is asking, sir, that FCTR is a temporary account? Yes. Rohan is saying, no, this accounting treatment doesn't seem to be in line with what is required to be done. Okay, what about others? Quickly. Do you think this treatment is correct? Over to you quickly. Anil says no. Devu says no. What about others? Quickly, huh? Do you think this accounting treatment is okay? Charandeep says no. Okay, so now financial statements of an integral foreign operation should be translated using the principles we discussed. Individual items in the financial statements are translated as if all the transactions had been entered into by the reporting entity only. Okay, so that's the principle that you follow. Okay, then of course, a lot of principles have been explained, all of those points. So I'm just skipping this second para. Exchange difference arising on translation of financial statements of integral foreign operation should be charged to P&L. That is what we discussed, that whenever you translate something, you take the impact to P&L. Exchange difference arising on translation of financial statement of foreign operation may have some tax effect, okay, which will be discussed separately. Thus, the treatment by the management of translating all the assets and liabilities, income and expenditure items in respect of foreign branches at the prevailing rates at the year end, and also the treatment of resultant exchange difference is not in line with the requirements of AS 11. Correct? Yeah. So what do you translate? And where do you take the impact? So the impact is taken to the P&L, not something which the entity has done. Clear? Yeah? Everyone clear on this? Okay, so then I think okay. Then I think Somya has a query. Somya is asking, will FCTR be carried to the reserve and surplus? Yes. FCTR is carried to the reserve and surplus in the balance sheet. Yeah, so that's how FCTR is required to be treated. Clear? Now, let's look at one more example. Okay, so this example, let's pick up. Okay, so then I think Anil has a query. Anil, can you please explain? Can you please pick up? What is your query? So that others can also understand. Yes, Anil, over to you. Yes, Anil, please go ahead.
Sir, we are recording at different rates like assets and liabilities at closing rate and P&L items at average rate. How
So
this
you are talking about.
tool is going to?
So Anil, you are talking about non-integral foreign operation, is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
How this will impact financial position, because shareholders are very much unaware, and how this will impact financial position of a particular company.
What do you mean by financial position?
Like performance, we can say, like uh, turnover and profits.
See, this will not have any impact on the turnover or the profits. Why? Because we discussed that whenever you will do this translation, any difference that gets generated, where do you take it? You are taking it to FCTR, which is a kind of reserve. So you are not taking the impact to P&L. So as regards your concern that this will have some impact on the profitability, the answer is no, it will not have any impact on the profitability. Okay, so that's one.
Okay.
Now, as regards your overall concern that users of the financial statements they are going to look at. So for the users only this translation is done. Why? Because when is this translation required? Let's suppose there's a holding company in India and there's a subsidiary company, let's suppose in US. So when you do the consolidation, okay, consolidation you have not covered, but there's a concept of consolidation if you are aware. Okay, both the
Yes,
companies
sir.
are
No.
required to be consolidated. So when you
Consolidate.
consolidate them, both of them you should be using same currency rate. Yeah. So now when one company is
Yes, sir.
preparing financial statements at INR, other is using USD. So what do? When you'll have to consolidate, you'll have to come to one currency.
Trans.
Okay. And that's
Yes.
why this translation will be required in case of non-integral foreign operation.
Okay.
Otherwise, this translation may not be required. Why? Because non-integral is preparing its own books, has got separate financial statements. It's not an extension of the entity also. So it can always be kept separate. For the consolidation purposes only it will be required.
Okay.
Yeah. And whenever
Okay.
this translation will be done, when the company uses closing rate for assets and liabilities, average rate for P&L items, so all of these things will form part of accounting policy. Okay, so users will get to know that what are the translation principles which have been followed by the company. So the users will get to know about it. Clear?
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sure. All right. Any more questions? Okay, so let's look at this example now. A business having head office in Kolkata has a branch in UK. Okay, and we've got the trial balance of branch. So head office is in Kolkata, means it's an Indian company having head office in Kolkata, and there's a branch in UK. Fine. So that means it's a foreign branch, foreign operation. So the trial balance of the branch is available as at 31st March X4. So it's prepared in pound. Machinery, we are given the purchase date. Debtors, opening stock. Then there are some goods received from head office. Sales, purchases, wages, salaries, cash. There are some remittances to head office. Okay. Then the head office account in the books of branch, creditors, all of this is available to you. Fine. Then you are also given some additional information, closing stock of the branch, depreciation. Then exchange rates are also given to you from pound to INR. For different rates, these rates are given. Okay. So we are looking at financial year X3, X4. Okay. You are required to prepare the trial balance of this branch after converting into INR. Okay. So that is what is required to be done. Yes or no? Yeah. So now in this case, quickly, can you just start this translation and let me know as to what is it that you have done? Over to you quickly. Yeah. So you understand how this translation is required to be done. So can you just quickly prepare the trial balance of this branch in INR? Okay. Okay. Rohan is asking, sir, will, so it's non-integral. Okay. So when you are required to translate the complete trial, so that has to be non-integral only. Yeah. That has to be non-integral only. Yeah. So can you just quickly do this translation? So I'll just wait for a couple of minutes for you to convert this. And then I'll get on to the solution also. Quickly, if you can just try to solve this. Over to you. Then we'll look at the solution also. Huh? Okay. So please remember all the assets, all the liabilities will have to be translated. Please confirm once you're through, then we'll start. Once you're through, please let me know, then I'll start with the solution. All right. Okay, so I think Anil has solved this. Anil, you're through with this completely? Okay, so it seems Pawan has just joined. So Pawan, you can just start looking at this. Okay, so let's look at the solution now. Yeah. So I think Priyanshi is saying, sir, we are preparing current year trial balance. Then why machinery transfer rate is on purchase date is taken and not of year end? Because all the assets, all the liabilities you will convert. I'll come to that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So now let's move on to this. Okay. Soumya is done. Priyanshi is done. Okay. So I think Anil is also done. Okay. So let's move on to the solution. Now, okay. So if you look at the machine, if you look at the debtors, so let's put down all the items. Okay. So what is our first objective? To put down all the items. So machine, debtors, opening stock, goods received from HO, sales, purchase, wages, salaries, cash, remittance to HO account, creditors. Okay, all of these have been put down first of all. And then, of course, any difference which will be generated, we'll have to look at it as to what is that difference. Yeah. Then some additional information is also available in respect of closing stock, in respect of depreciation. So we'll have to just explain as to how do you convert that. Okay, if let's suppose that additional information is available to us. Yeah. So now we are given few rates. So first rate is given for the machine which is purchased on 1st April X1. Okay, so that's one. Then you are given another rate for 1st April X3. So that means the opening one. And third rate you are given for 31st March X4. Okay. Now, in respect of machine that is purchased. Okay. So first of all, you purchase the machine on 1st April X1. Yeah. So you convert that using the transaction date rate. I'll come to it as to why are we doing that. Okay. So that's one. Debtors, you'll convert that using the closing rate. Opening stock. Opening stock, then you are applying the opening rate. Why? Because anyways you have got the closing stock. So in the closing stock, you will be adjusting the closing rate anyways. Fine. Then goods received from HO. Now, in respect of goods received from HO, you are given the actual amount at which the HO is recording it. Yeah, because you'll have to eventually consolidate that with HO. So these two have to get knocked off. So when you consolidate them, these two have to get knocked off. So that's why you will consider this amount at the actual. Then you have sales, purchases, wages, salaries. All of these you will consider using average rate. Now, can you tell me how do you compute the average? Over to you. I'm sure you would have computed the average. So how do you compute the average? Tell me quickly. There are three rates given. So how did you compute the average? What basis have you considered for computing the average? Very good. Anil says opening plus closing divided by 2. Yeah. So if you are given three rates, don't take all three and then compute the average. That will be incorrect. Yeah. Okay, great. I think Priyanshi, Harshda, they have considered the same thing. Okay, very good. Then, once again, when you have this remittance to HO or HO account, this again you will pick up at actual. Creditors, you have used closing rate? No. Once you've done all of these translations, so it appears the trial did not match. Okay, so if you do all of these translations, so the trial did not match. And we discussed that ideally it should not match. Yes or no? Because if you are converting some items at X rate, some item at Y rate, then obviously the trial will not match. So what do you call this difference as? FCTR. Okay, so this difference or the balancing figure you will take to FCTR. So that's one. Right? Then see the trial which is available to you in the question. So you'll also be converting the same trial balance. Then some additional information is also available to you. Okay. So what is that additional information available to you? Can you tell me? What is that additional information available to you? And what do you do on that? What do you do on that? On the additional information? On the additional information, okay. So one, that is closing stock. Second, that is depreciation. On both of them, now you must use the conversion. Why? Because eventually when you will prepare the financial statements using the trial balance, then both these items will also be used in preparing the financial statement. So that's why you should also have all of these items converted at the converted in the currency in which it is required to be done. Okay, now as regards closing stock, so once again the rate that you use it, what closing rate, right? So here again, what do? You use the closing rate. Now in respect of depreciation, okay, so the depreciation is charged on the machine. Okay, and for the machine, what did you do? For the machine, you use the transaction date rate. Correct. So that's why on the depreciation, you apply the same transaction date rate. Okay. Yeah. Because this is something which will go in line with the machine, because otherwise your carrying amount of the machine may not be matching. Yes or no? Yeah. So otherwise your carrying amount of the machine will not match. Yes or no? Yeah. Clear? Any questions on this? Yes, over to you. Any questions? Yes, quickly. Any questions? Okay, so I can see one query coming up. Ron is saying, sir, the depreciation rate. See, the depreciation rate is given to you, and you'll use the information which is available in the question. Okay, so the depreciation rate is 10%. So that's why on this machine, what do? First of all, you compute the depreciation. Yeah, so 5,000 is the value of the machine. So at the rate 10%, what is going to be the amount of depreciation? 500 only. Yeah, 500 only. Yeah, so that's what you will use for the calculation purposes. Okay, Somay is asking, sir, why are we taking the actual rate for the goods received from HO? Okay, so now let's try to understand this. See, in respect of transactions with HO, there are two ways you can consider it. Okay, now let me just get on to the working file first. Now, if you look at the transactions, so there is an head office and there's a branch. This is a foreign branch. Now, branch says that it has received goods from head office. Okay. Yeah. So head office has sent some goods to branch. When the goods were sent by head office, what is the amount at which head office has recorded this? 4,02,000. Okay. Now, because the branch was required to prepare the accounts in pound, so that's why branch recorded that at 6,100. Okay, so this is INR and this is pound. Correct. Now, let's suppose if you convert this, so it's a transaction, yeah, or it's a balance. Let's suppose if you convert this 6,100 using the closing rate. So what do you get? So if you convert this using the closing rate, Soumya, can you tell me what is the amount you will get? Quickly, over to you. What is the amount you will get? 4,08,700. Correct. So if you convert this at the rate 67, then you get 4,08,700. Yeah. So now, when you do this conversion, so what will happen? It's a transaction between two parties, head office and branch. Okay. Now both will appear at INR. Ideally, these two balances should match. Yes or no? Because only then they will be settled. Tell me, these two balances should match. Otherwise, they will not get settled. Yes or no? So if you record this at any rate, which results in a difference between these two, then will they match ever? Will they be settled? No. So that's why what do? You will pick up at actual amount. What is the meaning of actual? Actual means the amount at which this should have been recorded on the date of transaction in INR. Okay, only then this will get settled. So that whenever you reconcile them, they match. Whenever you do the consolidation of head office and branch office, they get knocked off. So at the time of consolidation, they will get knocked off. Yes or no? So only then the knocking off will be possible. Otherwise, knocking off will not be possible. Okay, clear? So am I clear on this? Yeah. Okay, so then I think Ishan has a query. See, as regards these items of PPE, they are required to be, yeah, so they are required to be considered at the rate when the acquisition has taken place. Okay. Yeah, so that's what you do in case of items of PPE. I can see this query coming up repeatedly. Yeah. So that's what you do in case of integral one. Yeah, that's what you do in case of integral one. But over here, in case of non-integral one, I think they have picked up the same thing. So I'll have to just go back, recheck with them. Yeah, as to why this has been picked up. But as of now, you should be considering this. Fine. Okay. Everyone clear on this? Everyone clear? All right. So now moving further. So I think Priyanshi, that's what I just explained to Ishan also. Yeah, so this principle of opening rate or the date of transaction is what you do in case of integral one. As of now, it appears they have picked up this in case of non-integral one. So I have to just go back, check with them as to why they have done this, and then I'll get back to you on this. Yeah. Okay. So now moving further. Okay, so there's one more concept which is in relation to this foreign currency monetary item translation difference. I think this was also a query. Yeah, so what is this foreign currency monetary item translation difference account? And this is, you can say, slightly different from foreign exchange difference, not completely different. What we will do is we'll just look at, I think, a few examples. Because through the examples, you will get more clarity around it. But let me just quickly explain you the principle. See, as per AS 11, if you have any exchange difference, where do you take it? P&L. Correct. You take it to P&L. But in respect of exchange differences arising on long-term foreign currency monetary items, long-term foreign currency monetary items, there's an option which is available. What is the option? You can adjust this to the cost of the asset, or where the item doesn't relate to acquisition of depreciable capital asset, what do? You'll take the exchange difference to another account, or you can say you'll take it to a parking account. That is what you call as foreign currency monetary item translation difference account. And this will be amortized. Okay. Now the question arises, what is this long-term foreign currency monetary item? So it can be an asset or a liability which is expressed in foreign currency, but it should have a period of 12 months or more at the date of origination of asset or liability. Yeah. Now, in relation to this, as I told you, this can be best understood with the help of some examples. So what I'll do is I'll just take you to some examples, and through the examples, we'll try to understand this concept in more detail. Okay, so let's look at this example. A Limited purchased fixed assets costing 3,000 lakhs on 1st of January X1, and same was fully financed by foreign currency loan, USD, payable in 3 annual equal installments. Okay, so please remember, fixed asset has been purchased on 1st January X1, and a loan has been taken for this. It's a foreign currency loan. Okay. And this is payable in 3 annual equal installments. So can we say it's a long-term foreign currency loan? Quickly, can we say it's a long-term foreign currency loan? Yes or no? Quickly. Yeah. Can we say that? The moment you say it's a long-term foreign currency loan, will it be considered as a long-term foreign currency monetary liability? Tell me. Will it be a long-term foreign currency monetary liability or not? Rohan says yes. Devu says yes. Yeah. So it will be a long-term foreign currency monetary liability. Yeah. So that means on this particular liability, that option will apply. Okay. That option is very popularly called by the para number only. Okay. Para 46, 46. So now exchange rates are given to us 40 and 42.5 on two different dates. First installment was paid on 31st December X1. Entire difference in foreign exchange has been capitalized. So now let's understand as to how would you account for this. Okay. Now let's calculate the exchange difference. So we have a foreign currency loan which is taken at 3000 lakhs on 1st of January. Okay. On 1st of January, what is the amount at which you will record it? 40. Correct. You will record it at 40. Yeah. Okay. Now, so if you record it at 40, so you'll get 75 lakh USD. You'll get 75 lakh USD. Okay. Now, in relation to this 75 lakh USD, at the year end, conversion rate has increased to 42.5. So will it lead to an increase or decrease in the liability? Tell me. Will it lead to increase or decrease in the liability? Over to you. Will it lead to increase or decrease in the liability? Great, increase. So the moment you say there will be an increase in liability, so it will result into a foreign exchange loss. So it will result into a foreign exchange loss. Yes or no? Yeah. So when you restate that, now it's a foreign currency denominated monetary liability. So that's why it will have to be restated at 42.5. Yeah. So if you restate at 42.5, so what do you get? Exchange loss 187.5 lakhs. Correct? Now, where do you take this impact? Can you tell me any exchange difference, whether that's a gain or loss? Where do you take it? Where do you take it? That goes to P&L, as we discussed. Okay. But now, if let's suppose the entity would have considered the criteria of para 46, 46A, then this loss or this foreign exchange loss, okay, then in such a case, this loss would not have gone to P&L. This loss would have got capitalized. Yeah. In the particular solution, we have not applied this requirement. Idea is just to make you understand that this loss goes to P&L. Now what we will do is, now in this particular example, we are going to apply the same thing. Para 46, 46A. A Limited borrowed 10,000 in foreign currency on 1st April X1 at 5% per annum annual interest and acquired a depreciable asset. Okay. Now, a depreciable asset has been acquired. So now, in this case, this foreign currency loan, you are required to restate. It's a foreign currency loan. So if that is outstanding at the year end, it's required to be restated. Loan was taken to finance the operations of the entity and not to procure a depreciable asset. So there are different considerations you are required to take. First, you will say option under para 46A is not availed. Option under para 46A is availed. Loan was taken to finance the operations of the entity and not in respect of depreciable assets. So let's try to understand all of these accounting requirements one by one. Okay. So now, first of all, when this loan is outstanding at the year end, will there be an exchange loss on this or not? Tell me, will there be an exchange loss on this or not? Can you compute the exchange loss on this loan? Can you compute the amount of exchange loss? What is going to be the amount of exchange loss? Quickly, over to you. Okay, Charandeep has computed, Ishan has computed 30,000. I think Soumya has got the same answer. Or where you? Now, in this case, please remember, question says that you need to assume that the interest is paid on the same date. Okay, so at the year end, interest is not outstanding. Yeah, so now let's look at the first option. If para 46A is not availed, so what do you do? So when the loan is taken, you will record this using the rate of transaction. So bank debit to foreign currency loan account, 4,80,000. At the year end, any difference which is there, that will increase the amount of liability, means the loan, and the difference will go to P&L. At the year end, on this loan, you will compute the interest amount. Okay, so 10,000 was the loan amount, 5% is the interest. At the year end, when you pay this amount will become 51. Oh, sorry, this amount will be translated using 51 rate. Yeah, so this will go to your interest cost and the payment is also done. So you'll credit the bank account. So I think this part is very simple. So this part we have discussed quite a lot. Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, now let's understand as to how the accounting will change if para 46A option is availed by the entity. So the first accounting entry remains same. Loan is taken. Interest repayment accounting entry will also remain same. Now, at the year end, the foreign exchange difference which gets generated. Now, instead of taking it to P&L, where do you take it? You will capitalize it. Okay. You will capitalize it with the PPE. Why PPE? Because question says it pertains to depreciable asset. So if the loan is used for a depreciable asset, so the forex that you generate on that will get capitalized with the cost of that depreciable asset. Clear on this? Clear on this? Yeah. Any questions on this second part? Are you clear on the accounting requirement for the second part? Quickly, over to you. On the second part, do you have any questions? Over to you. Second part is clear to everyone? Tell me quickly. Okay, now, third part. In the third part, they are saying that loan was taken to finance the operations of the entity. Loan was not taken for the procurement of depreciable assets. So now, let's understand as to how the accounting will change. In the third option. In the third option, first of all, when you take the loan, accounting entry will be same. When you pay the interest, accounting entry will be same. Then you will restate the loan, accounting entry will be same. Now, because the loan does not pertain to a depreciable asset, so can you capitalize that with the cost of the asset? Can you capitalize that with the cost of the asset? Answer is no. Answer is no. So therefore, will you take it to P&L? No. See, para 46A option is availed. So if this option is availed, can you take it to P&L? No. So where do you park it? You will park it to a separate account, which is called as foreign currency monetary item translation difference account. Okay. Yeah. Clear on this? Yeah. So the question will have to specify. Now you may be thinking, sir, how will we get to know? See, the question will specify that you need to consider this option of para 46, 46A or not. Yeah, so that's how you'll have to go about it. Everyone clear? Everyone clear on this? Any questions, any doubts if you have, please let me know. Everyone clear? Yeah, so that's same. Yeah, so Rohan is asking, yes. So these are two paras. Okay, so that's how you will consider it. Okay. Harshda is asking, sir, para 46 availed case loan acquired for. Yes, so that will be given to you. If that is not given, you will have to put the assumptions. Okay. Ishan, I think you need to check at your end. So what did I miss out? Because I think audio is all clear. Huh? Anil is saying in the last option, in case the company doesn't follow 46A, then they can show it in the P&L. So it's not about they can, they will have to take it to P&L. Okay, so then it will be similar to your part 1. Yes or no? Then it will become similar to part 1. Fine. Soumya is asking, sir, this foreign currency monetary item translation difference account, it's a separate item? Yes, it's a separate item. No, FCTR is different. This is different. Please remember your foreign exchange difference is different. FCTR is different. And this foreign currency monetary item translation account. See, there are 3 different concepts we have discussed. And for 3 different concepts, you have these 3 different accounting requirements. Yeah, so they are not same. Fine, they are not same. Clear on this? Yeah. So Ishan, tell me what did you miss out quickly? I'll just repeat that part for you. Rohit is saying, sir, the second option. Rohit, can you please pick up? What is your query? I'm not clear. Rohit, can you please quickly speak up? What is your query? Rohit, over to you. Quickly, please pick up. Rohit, please raise hand so that we can unmute you. Yes, Rohit, quickly. Rohit, you are there or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please
Sir,
speak up.
सर ये प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट इक्विपमेंट का जो सेकंड ऑप्शन है ये समझ में नहीं आया सर.
Second option, okay.
Yes, sir.
So the second option says that whether you are using this loan for acquiring the machine or maybe any item of PPE which is depreciable. Okay, so the question says that in the second option you will consider that para 46A is availed. So if para 46A is availed, then you will not take the exchange difference to P&L. Okay, so then you are left with only 2 options. Either you will capitalize that with the cost of the PPE, number 1. Number 2, you will park it to a account foreign currency monetary item translation difference. So in option 2, what is the understanding you have? That this loan was availed for acquiring the depreciable asset. So if the loan is availed for acquiring the depreciable asset, tell me, will you capitalize that with the cost of depreciable asset, or you will park it to foreign currency monetary item translation difference account? Tell me, what will you do?
So, so
Rohan, tell
foreign,
me.
so
Yes, Rohan.
foreign,
I can't hear you. Tell me quickly. What will you do?
so foreign plan.
You will capitalize that?
Yes, sir. I capitalized that.
Yeah, you will capitalize that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
exactly the same thing has been done in option number 2. Okay. Whereas if you go to option number 3, so in option number 3, again, para 46A is considered. But the question says that now you should assume that this loan is not utilized for acquiring the depreciable asset. Okay, I think this is also the query from Ishan. So in this case, if the loan is not utilized for acquiring of depreciable asset, where do you take this foreign exchange difference? Tell me. Foreign currency monetary item translation difference account. Okay.
Okay.
Foreign currency monetary item translation difference account. Clear? Rohit,
Okay.
Ishan, are you now clear on this?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Ishan, you are clear? So Ishan is asking, sir, if in third part 46A is not available, then you will go to first part. Then your third part and first part will not be different. Yes or no? Yeah, clear? Anil is asking, sir, is it a discretion of the company whether to follow 46A or not? Yes, that's the discretion of the company. And that's why it's been considered as an option. Okay, so it's something which is optional. And this option is also available only when the criteria is met. What is the criteria? It has to be a long-term foreign currency monetary item. Somya is asking, sir, what is the significance? See, the significance is very simple. You are not taking the impact to P&L. Instead, you are capitalizing it. Or you are parking to an account which will be amortized over a period. So your entire impact of exchange difference doesn't go to P&L straight away. Okay, so that's the significance and that's the impact which the companies will have. Clear? Yeah. Anil, Somya, are you clear on this now? Over to you quickly. Are you clear on this? Okay, Somya is clear. Very good. Anil, you are clear on this? Ron is asking, sir, whether the PP should be a long term. So you tell me whether PP is a long term or short term. Do you do this classification for PP? Tell me. Yeah. So is that logical to say that PP is logical, long term or short term? No. So PP is PP and it's presented under non-current. Yes or no? Yeah. So it's all about the borrowings that you will check whether it's long term or short term. Clear? Yeah. Okay. So any more questions on the discussion that we have had so far? Over to you quickly. Any questions? Any doubts so far? Any questions? Any doubts so far? No? Everyone clear? Yeah? Everyone clear? Quickly. Yeah? All right. So let's take a break and then we'll continue on this. Yeah. So there's one small part on the standard which is pending. We'll pick up that after the break. Yeah. Manish, we can break now. We can take a break now. Okay. Hi, welcome back. So let's continue. Okay, so now in this standard, another concept has also been discussed, which is called as forward exchange contracts. Okay, so now let's try to understand as to what is a forward exchange contract. Generally, what the companies do is to hedge their risk, means to cover their risk in relation to foreign exchange. For example, say a company A Limited had sold goods. Okay, say worth of 1000 USD. Okay, now today rate of USD is 85. Yeah, but the money will not be collected today. Say the money will be collected after 3 months. Now, after 3 months, if the rate goes up, if this exchange rate becomes 86 or this 84, any of the changes are possible. Yeah, if the rate goes up, then A Limited will get more money in INR terms. Yes or no? Because A Limited is a company in India. So eventually A Limited has to have money in INR. Yeah. So for A Limited, does it matter that it's 1000 USD? Answer is no. Eventually A Limited has to have INR. So after 3 months, if the rate goes up, exchange rate goes up, A Limited will be benefited. If the rate goes down, A Limited will be at loss. Yes or no? Tell me. So there will be an impact for A Limited. Over to you quickly. Yeah. Now, this exposure of changes in foreign currency can be avoided, or you can say can be covered. So how do you cover that? Through a contract. Okay, so today what A Limited can do is A Limited can enter into a forward exchange contract with a bank. Okay, so now as per this contract, what will happen? A Limited will pay some charges to the bank. Okay, for entering into this contract. And what A Limited will do is A Limited will agree a rate with the bank. Let's suppose rate agreed is 85.5. So now after 3 months, when A Limited will collect 1000 USD, it will give it to the bank and will take the amount equivalent to 85.5. Now after 3 months, whether the rate is 86 or 84, in such a case, it will not impact A Limited. Yeah. Yeah. So that's how companies hedge their foreign currency risk. Clear on this? Everyone clear on this? What is a forward exchange contract? Everyone clear? Clear about this forward exchange contract? Everyone? Okay, now, in case of forward exchange contract, this rate 85.5 that we discussed is called as forward rate. Okay, this is what you call as forward rate. Ron is asking hedge. What is the meaning of hedge? Hedge means to cover the risk. Okay, meaning of hedge is to cover the risk. So that's the meaning of hedge. Clear? Okay. I think Smriti, Tanisha, Tanu, they are all clear on this. Very. So now, whenever there is a forward exchange contract, so this is also required to be accounted for. Okay. So now, these forward exchange contract could again be of two types. One that is held for speculation purposes and second which is not held for speculation purposes. Okay. So a company may enter into a forward exchange contract which is not intended for trading or speculation purposes. In which case, any premium or discount at the inception of such contract should be amortized as expense or income over the life of the contract. Now, please remember that forward exchange contracts which are intended for trading purposes or which are not intended for trading purposes, their accounting requirement is different. Okay. Now, in case the forward exchange contract is the one which is intended for trading or speculation purposes, in that case, any premium or discount on the contract is ignored. So ignore that. At the balance sheet date, what do? You will have to compute the fair value of the contract. Now you may be thinking, sir, how do we compute the fair value? So that is available through a valuer. And that fair value is also called as mark to market. Yeah, marked to market. In short form, this is also called as MTM. Yeah. So what will you do? You will compute the fair value or MTM of the contract. And if that is increased, it will be a gain. If that is decreased, it will be a loss. So now, for both these types of contracts, the one which is held for speculation purposes, the one which is not held for trading purposes, their accounting treatment is different. So let's try to understand the accounting treatment. Okay, we'll look at these examples. Fine. Rao Limited purchased a plant for 1 lakh USD on 1st Feb 2016, payable after 3 months. Company entered into a forward contract for 3 months at the rate 49.15 per dollar. Exchange rate per dollar on the date when the company entered into this transaction was 48.85. So what is the forward rate in this case? Can you tell me? What is the forward rate? Over to you. What is the forward rate? 49.15 means the rate which has been agreed for future. So this is the forward rate. Now, if the question is silent, we will assume it's the one which is not held for speculation or trading purposes. So how do you do the accounting? So in this case, the difference between the forward rate and the rate on the date of the entering into the contract, you will compute. So this is what you call as premium. Okay, so this premium has been paid to the bank. Yeah. So this is 0.30 per dollar. How many dollars have been agreed with the bank? How many dollars have been agreed with the bank? How many dollars have been agreed with the bank? 1 lakh. So what is going to be the total amount? 1 lakh into 0.30. So that means 30,000 is the amount which has been paid to the bank. Okay, 30,000 is the amount which has been paid to the bank. Now, this 30,000 will not go to P&L straight away. Standard says you will amortize it over the life of the contract. Now, this contract is from 1st Feb 2016 to 3 months. Okay. So Feb, you have 1 month. March, you have another month. 30th April 16 is the 3rd month. That's when the contract ends. So this 30,000 is the cost for 3 months. So this has to be amortized over 3 months. So that means in the first month, 10,000 will go to P&L. In the second month, 10,000 will go to P&L. So in this particular financial year, you will take 20,000 to P&L. In this particular financial year, which is the next financial year, you will take 10,000 to P&L. Clear on the accounting requirement? Everyone clear on this? Yes, quickly. Any questions on this? Simple, easy to do. Anil is asking, sir, premium. So for the speculative one, we'll talk about that. Huh? So the next one will pick up for the speculative one only. Okay. Clear? All right. So now the next one. Okay. So now for the next one, I think what you can do is okay. So now let's suppose if you have a contract for speculation or trading purposes. Yeah. So let's suppose today is 6th of June 2025. You enter into a contract. Okay. This is a forward contract. And this is for speculation purposes. So today, the premium that you pay, okay, so the premium that you have, let's suppose that is 30,000, similar to the one that we just discussed. So in this case, do you amortize the premium over the contract if, let's suppose, once again we have the 3 months period? No. No. Okay. So what do? At the year end, at the reporting date, you will be computing its MTM. Now, in this case, if let's suppose we consider a period of 3 months, so within the financial year, it will get over. Yeah. So let me just change the date. Let me just make it, say, for example, 6th of Feb 2025. Okay. Now, let's suppose this contract has to end on, say, Feb, March, April, May. Say this contract has to end on 6th May 2025. So in between, there will be a reporting date on 31st March 2025. So on this date, company will have to get its fair valuation, or you can say MTM, done. Now, whether this MTM results in a loss or a gain, both of them will go to P&L straight away. Okay, both of them will go to P&L straight away. Clear on this? Everyone clear on this? Yeah, Ishan, clear? Any questions, any doubts so far? So this is it that we had on AS11, which is about the foreign currency transactions, foreign currency balances, and wherein one more concept is also covered, and that is in relation to the forward contracts. Okay, so forward contracts is not really about the foreign currency transactions, but it's linked to that. So it's an instrument to cover the risk of Forex. So that's why this concept has also been included under AS11. Yeah. So I'm just hoping you are clear on this. Yeah. Any questions, any doubts, if you have on this, please let me know. Then we'll move on to the next topic. Okay, so now we'll pick up AS22. Any questions, any doubts, if you have, please let me know. Quickly waiting for a response. No question, sure? Somya is asking how the MTM will be worked out. See, the MTM is something for which you go to the valuer. So valuer will compute that and will work out that for you. Okay, so you don't need to get into that exercise. Yeah, so you are not required to look into that calculation, etc. Huh? So you need not worry about it. Clear? Yes, Ron, please speak up. What's your query?
Sir, how forward exchange contract cover the risk of forex?
Because today itself, you have agreed on the rate with the bank. Okay, so tomorrow if the rate changes, okay, so you are not exposed to that. Your rate is frozen today. You are not bothered about it. So that's how you get covered.
Sir,
Clear?
if the spot rate becomes less than the forward rate, then it is a gain or loss.
Yes, of course. See, it may result into a gain or a loss. But today, if you let's suppose look at the company, okay, that example of A Limited that we picked up. Let me just go back to that example. Just a minute. Okay, say A Limited has sold some goods. Okay, so what is the payment which A Limited is expecting? 1000 USD. Today, rate is 85. So if the payment is received today, what will A Limited get? Tell me, what will A Limited get?
85,000.
85,000. But the problem is that there is a credit period of 3 months. Now, after 3 months, can you predict what is going to be the exchange rate?
No, no, sir.
No. So same is the problem with A Limited. Now, after 3 months, two situations are possible. It may increase or decrease. If it increases, let's suppose it becomes 86. If it goes down, it becomes 84. If it increases, it's a benefit. But what if it goes down? There's a risk or not? Yeah. So there
Yes.
are two ways A Limited can function now. A Limited may expect the rate to go up and not do anything about it. Okay. So either to play with the fluctuation. If they are happy to go with the fluctuation, okay. So if there is any increase, they will enjoy the benefit. If there is a decrease, so they will have to accept the loss also. But companies do not want to get into this fluctuation. So that's why what do they do? So today itself, A Limited will enter into a contract with the bank. So A Limited will say that after 3 months, I am expecting 1000 USD. Okay. So let's lock my USD rate. So bank will say no problem. Let's lock this rate at 85.5. So any change in the rate will be borne by the banker. Okay, so if the rate goes up to 86, so the benefit will be available to the bank. If the rate goes down to 84, that loss will also be accepted by the bank. So that's how it is covered. Clear?
Sir, here the forward rate is 85. So why you took
No, so the
85.5?
forward rate is not 85. Spot rate is 85. What is the meaning of spot rate? Do you remember?
Sir, transaction date, the rate at the transaction date.
Correct. So that is spot rate for you. Forward rate means rate of the future. So this is your forward rate. Clear?
Okay, sir. Sir, and why we assume that if nothing is mentioned, then you have to assume non-speculative?
So any assumption you will have to pick up. Yeah, so that's why I said this. And that's how I think your questions are also stored in the study material. Okay, so better to go with what the study says.
Sir, in a speculative only loss and gain will be recorded, no?
In speculative only, this premium you will ignore. At the year end, you will find out that for MTM, what is the gain or loss. Okay,
Made to, sir, MTM means made to market.
mark to market. You can
Mark.
just simply call it as market value or fair value for your simplicity sake.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I think Ishan has a query. Yes, Ishan, please go ahead. What's your query? Yes, Ishan, over to you. Ishan, what's your query?
No, sir. I just want to ask that the gain or loss is not due to the change in exchange rate. No, it is due to the contract.
Which type of contract you are discussing? Speculative one or the non-speculative one?
Non-speculative one.
So non-speculative one is the one wherein you are not looking at MTM. You are saying that today the spot rate is 85. You have locked a deal with the bank at 85.5. Okay, so there is a cost you have paid to the bank, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that cost of this
Due to
point
that
0.5.
cost.
Okay, so this is the cost which you are recording in your P&L over the period of the contract.
So, due to this cost, there is gain or loss.
Yes, due to this cost, there's an expense, so there's a loss.
Oh, yes, sir. Understood,
Okay,
sir. Thank you, sir.
yeah. All right, any more questions on this? Any more questions? No? Everyone clear? Yeah, everyone clear? All right, so now let's move further. Now we'll pick up this topic on deferred taxes. Let me just share the presentation. Okay, AS22, I think considered to be a bit technical. Yeah, but we'll just try to understand the concept first. All right, so now there are a few concepts over here which we need to understand. So there is a concept which is called as accounting income or loss. Accounting income or loss. So what is the meaning of this? See, when you prepare your P&L, do you get profit or loss over there or not? Tell me, do you get profit or loss over there when you prepare the P&L? Yes. So what do you call it as? Profit or loss as per books of accounts. Or you can say profit or loss as per the accounts. The term for such profit or loss in the standard happens to be accounting income or loss. So what is your accounting income or loss? Any profit or loss which is there in the books of accounts, means as per P&L. Okay, clear? Next. Now, I'm not sure whether you have gone through some of the requirements of income tax or not. Yeah, so quickly, I think you can just also help me understand. Have you started going through some of the requirements of income tax? Income tax, do you understand? Maybe briefly. Yeah. Income tax. Do you have some understanding of income tax? Okay, very good. Ishan, Rohan, they are saying yes. Very good. Almaz is also clear. Okay, now till now 5 heads. So if 5 heads are completed, so that means you have effectively completed a significant part. Very good. Okay. Now, under income tax, the income that you consider for computation of tax, can we say that it is always the same amount which you have in the P&L? See, the income on which the tax is computed. Now, this is very, very important. Huh? Income on which you compute the tax means which you offer to the income tax department. Does it always match with the income or the loss that you show in the P&L? Tell me. Is it necessary? Charandeep says no. Golti, Anil, Ishan, they are saying no. Okay. Julie, Devu, they are saying no. So there is a difference between that. Yes or no? Yeah. Now, what is the difference? Why there is a difference? We'll come to that difference also. But before that, important point for us is that income which is offered to income tax or the loss which is offered to income tax for computing the income tax. What do you call it as? Taxable income or taxable loss. Okay. Yeah, this part is clear. Yeah, this part is clear. Okay, now, very good. Next. See, during the year, let's suppose if you talk about 24, 25. So what will you have? So during the year, if you talk about 24, 25, a company will be required to compute income tax. So let's suppose company has some profit. Say its profit is 100. Okay. Now, on this profit, tax is computed. Let's suppose tax is there at the rate 25%. So the tax will be 25 and the profit after tax that you get is 75. So this tax amount, do you show this in the P&L? Answer is yes. You show this in the P&L. Yes or no? Yeah. So the tax for the period, for the current year that you compute, what do you call it as? Current tax. Okay, so this tax which you compute for the current year, what do you call it as? Current tax. This is also called as provision for taxation or provision for tax. So there are two different nomenclature that you use for this. Current year's tax means current tax or the provision for tax. Yeah, so that's the nomenclature that you use. Fine. Yeah. So that means current tax is the tax that the company will compute for the current year. Yes or no? Yeah. But there's a problem. Let's understand what is the problem. See, the companies are required to follow accrual concept. Yes or no? Yes or no? Tell me. Companies are required to follow accrual concept. Yes or no? Tell me quickly. Yeah. So let's suppose if the P&L shows a profit of 100, okay, but for the computation of tax, what do? You will consider taxable profit. Now it may happen that your taxable profit is say 90. Is it possible or not that your taxable profit is 90? Yeah. So in this case, The tax that the company will compute will be on 100 or 90? The tax that the company will compute will be on 100 or 90? Tell me. Obviously on 90. Yeah. So if let's suppose tax rate is 30%, so what will happen? 27 will be the tax amount. And that's how you will get your PAT. Yeah. Now, sometimes there is a difference between book profit and taxable profit. Okay, there is a difference here. Sometimes there is a difference between book profit and tax profit. Or it could be a book profit or tax loss, or it could be a book loss or tax profit. Book loss and tax loss. Yeah. So don't think that it's only profit. Okay. Now, sometimes, even though they appear to be differences, for example, in the given case, those differences could only be for a period of time. Means over a period of time, you find that such differences get reversed. Over a period of time, what do you find? Such differences get reversed. So what do you call those differences as? Timing differences. Those are called as timing differences. On such timing differences, a tax is required to be computed. Why? Because we follow accrual concept. So let's try to understand this with the help of an example. Okay. So we have this concept of deferred tax. Now, through this example, we will try to understand as to why this deferred tax is required to be computed. What is the meaning of this deferred tax? How is that deferred tax computed? Okay, what is the rationale behind this deferred tax? Clear? Yeah. So this part is very, very important. So that's why I'll need your attention. And if you have any questions, any doubts, please make sure you ask me. Okay. So let's suppose there's an item of PPE. Yeah. So there is an item of PPE whose amount is 100. So let's suppose it's a machine. Okay. Now, its life is what? 10 years as per Companies Act, or you can say as per books of accounts. So if you take the life of 10 years, so what is going to be the amount of depreciation each year? Tell me. If you depreciate this machine using a life of 10 years, what is going to be the depreciation amount each year? 10. Simple. Yeah, using SLM, of course. Okay. So we can say that 10 is the depreciation. Yeah. Okay. Now, let's suppose as per income tax, depreciation rates are different. Yes or no? In fact, as per income tax, depreciation rates are not the same which you have under books of accounts. In fact, under income tax, you have these rates, whereas in the books of accounts, what do you follow? Useful lives. Yes or no? You follow useful life. Correct? So now, in this case, I'm assuming, just to keep it simple, so don't think, sir, how did you get this? Just to keep it simple, I am assuming that life as per income tax is 5 years. Okay? Yeah. So in such a case, what is going to be the amount of depreciation as per income tax? What is going to be the amount of depreciation as per income tax? Over to you quickly. Over to you quickly. 20. Tanisha, Somya, Chirandeep, they are saying 20. Yeah, so block-wise, all of these complications I have not included, Chirandeep. Huh? So I'm not looking at block-wise, I'm not looking at WDV, I'm not looking at the closing balances. I'm just trying to keep it simple. I'm just saying that there is a difference in the method of calculation of depreciation. There's a difference in the rate. Okay, let's suppose because of that difference in the books, you are charging a depreciation of 10, whereas for income tax, you are charging a depreciation of 20. Okay, so that's what I have considered. Fine. I've just tried to keep it very, very simple. Okay, all of those complex calculations unnecessarily are not required. That you can do for your income tax. Okay, for our accounting purposes, we need to understand the concept. That's why I've tried to keep it simple. Okay, now, in this case, in the books of accounts, I'm charging a depreciation of 10, but over a period of 10 years, what is the amount that I have charged as depreciation? 100. In income tax, even though I have considered a different depreciation rate, is my total depreciation amount different? Tell me, is my total depreciation amount different? Is that possible? No, that is same. So that means over a period of 10 years, whether it is books or income tax, at both the places, my depreciation amount remains same. That at both the places, whether it is books or income tax, my depreciation amount remains same. Correct? Now, in this case, let's look at first year. Okay. Now, in the first year, what will happen? In the books, I will consider a depreciation charge of 10. I will consider a depreciation charge of rupees 10. But will the income tax allow me that depreciation amount of 10? Tell me. Tell me, will income tax allow me such a depreciation charge? No. So income tax will say you reverse that depreciation charge and recompute the depreciation as per income tax provisions. So therefore, as per income tax, what do? I'll charge higher depreciation. So if I charge higher depreciation, that means I charge depreciation by rupees 10 extra. So what will happen in the first year? My tax liability will go down in the first year. Yes or no? So if I charge more depreciation, will my tax liability go down? My tax liability will go down in the first year. Yes. So therefore, if I consider a tax rate of 30%, I'll pay lower tax by rupees 3 in the first year. Correct? I'll pay lower tax by rupees 3 in the first year. Now, moving on to second year. Here again, as per books, depreciation amount is 10, but income tax says you consider 20. So here again, my tax liability will be lower. My tax liability will be lower. Yeah. And I'll pay lower tax in the second year again. So the same thing will continue in third year, same thing will continue in fourth year, up to fifth year. Same thing continues. Yes or no? Up to fifth year, my tax liability is lower. Why? Because of difference in the depreciation rates. Yes or no? Yes or no? So I am very happy to pay lower tax. Yeah, I'm very happy to pay lower tax, but there is a problem. Now, what is the problem? When I go to sixth year, as per books, I'm considering a depreciation charge of 10, but income tax doesn't allow me any depreciation now. It says your depreciation amount will be 0. Okay, your depreciation amount will be 0. So that's why what will happen in 6th year? Can you tell me? Now, what will happen in the 6th year? Over to you quickly. Ishan says, my tax liability will increase. Same is the response from Rohan, Somya, Tanisha. Yeah. So if you look at the 6th year, if you look at the 7th year, 8th year, 9th year, in all of these years, now what is happening? My tax liability is increasing. Or can I say this? Please confirm that in a way, the lower tax which I had paid in first year is now be required to be paid. Can I say this or not? That in the first year, the lower tax which I paid is now required to be paid in the 6th year. Similarly, lower tax which I paid in second year is required to be paid in the 7th year. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yeah. So it means that even though there were these differences of rupees 10, but all of these differences were not permanent. They were only for a period of time. Yeah. They are all getting reversed. All those differences are reversible. So that's why, what do you call those differences as? Timing differences. Timing differences. Okay. Now, in the first year, when I paid lower tax, I knew that this lower tax will be required to be paid by me in future. Yes or no? Yes or no? Tell me. In the first year, when I paid lower tax, I knew that this will be required to be paid by me in future. Yes or no? So this 3 which I didn't pay in the first year, I knew I'll have to pay this in the subsequent years. Yeah. So did I really save tax in the first year? Tell me, did I really save tax in the first year? No. I only deferred the payment of tax. So I can say that only the payment was deferred to the subsequent years. Yes or no? Only the payment was deferred to the subsequent years. So that's why, what should I do? This rupees 3 tax liability, which I didn't pay in the first year, I should record that liability as well. Over and above the current tax liability, I should be recording another tax liability. For what? For the tax which I am required to pay in the subsequent years. Why? Because I am required to follow accrual concept. Why? Because I am required to follow accrual concept. Okay. And how do you record this tax liability? By calling it as deferred tax. Okay. So this is what you call as deferred tax. So this will become deferred tax liability. So therefore, in the first year, what is the accounting entry I'll pass? Deferred tax expense debit. Okay, so this is the accounting entry I'll pass in the first year. Deferred tax expense debit to deferred tax liability. Clear on this? Clear on the meaning of deferred tax? Any questions over here? Quickly. Any questions, any doubts if you have? See, this concept is very, very important and it is also considered to be a bit tricky. So that's why if you have any questions, any doubts, please let me know. Yes, Shiv, I think you have a query. Please go ahead. Yes, Shiv. Please go ahead.
Yes, my query is,
Yes.
uh, does income tax rule said that depreciation rate as per income tax uh, will be higher, or we can consider up to only 5 years?
No, so this is only an example. Okay. So for this particular asset, don't go by what income tax is saying. So I have not picked up any specific asset. Okay.
Right.
I have not picked up the life as per income tax. This is only an example. So for
Okay.
income tax, you will have different considerations. You will consider a block. Your method of calculation is also on the basis of whether you purchase in the first 6 months, next 6 months. You
Right.
consider a
Right.
rate instead of useful life. Idea is not to get into that complete consideration of how income tax will compute the amount. Idea is just to make you understand that at two places, in income tax and in the books of accounts, your amount of depreciation could be different. And
Okay.
such difference will be reversible over a period of time. So don't get into the computations that you can do on your own. Idea is to discuss the concept. Clear?
Right, sir.
Okay. Yes. Any more questions? Quickly. Any more questions? Okay, so I think you are looking at the accounting. No. So accounting entry, you tell me. So you're saying, please show the accounting entry. You tell me that in the first year, when you have this situation wherein your deferred tax, wherein your tax liability is getting deferred, what should be the accounting entry that you will pass? You think about the accounting entry and tell me what accounting entry you should pass in the first year. Over to you. Quickly. In the first year, what is the accounting entry you'll pass? Quickly, over to you. Tell me. In the first year, what is the accounting entry that you will pass? Okay, so in the first year, the accounting entry that you should pass will be to book a deferred tax liability. So you'll say to deferred tax liability. Yeah. So you'll recognize a liability. Yes or no? Why? Because this liability is required to be paid in future. At what amount? Tell me. At what amount? What is going to be the amount for this liability? 3. Yeah. So this liability is for 3. And the corresponding impact you will take to P&L. So if you take the impact to P&L, so you'll have to debit the expense. So what is going to be the name of that expense? You will call it as deferred tax expense. Debit 3. Okay. So this expense goes to your P&L and this liability goes to your balance sheet. Clear on this? Yeah, everyone clear? Any questions on this? Tell me, any questions, any doubts if you have on this? No questions? Sure? Okay, now this is about the deferred tax expense. So in the P&L, where do you present this deferred tax expense? So in the P&L, first of all, what do you have? Okay, so let's try to understand its presentation requirement as well. In the P&L, first of all, you'll have your profit before tax. whatever is that amount. Okay. From the profit before tax, what do you reduce? Tax expense. Yes or no? From the PBT, you reduce the tax expense. Now, this tax expense will be a summation of two things. One will be your current tax. Second will be your deferred tax expense. Okay. Sum total of this will become your total expense, after which you get your profit after tax. Okay. Clear on this? Yeah, everyone clear? Okay, so I can see some queries coming up. Tanu is asking, sir, if in current year we pay less tax. Yes, of course, there will also be a situation of deferred tax asset, but that we'll discuss later. Okay, so as of now, we have only discussed about a deferred tax liability. So similar to what you have a deferred tax liability, you can always have a situation of deferred tax asset. We'll talk about it, but later on. As of now, on this part, on the deferred tax liability, okay, on this deferred tax expense, if you have any further questions, please let me know. Quickly, any questions, any doubts if you have on this? Or you are clear on this? Yeah, clear, everyone? All right. So then I think we can just close our discussion for AS22 here. We are not yet done on AS22. We'll continue on this in the next session. I think now you have one test which is in place. Yeah, so I'll just pass on this to Asha ma'am now.
Good morning, Achal sir. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
So, good morning, students. Students, you can unmute yourself. Today we are planning to conduct a test for you, but now some plan is changed. Right now I'm here to take the feedback from you. So if you are facing any problem, you can share with us, because we are planning to make some test for you. And if you have any issue, any doubt, you can share with us. Devu, you can unmute yourself. Students, are you listening? Harshad, Sabah, Tanisha, Tanu. Yes, Anil, you can unmute yourself. Good morning, Anil.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, regarding accounting standard, is it okay if I question you any other topics?
Your query is not clear.
Ma'am, I'm facing issue in accounts, like not able to be accurate.
Okay. Aage.
Because it involves lot many estimates and all.
Actually, you could try to understand. This is a very new subject and new thing you are going to learn at this level. Na?
Yeah, ma'am.
First time you are going to learn and understand the accounting standards. First of all, students always face the fear कि जो first time हम चीजें देख रहे हैं, how it will impact, are they will be able to understand it. तो first of all you have to clear your fear. आपको अपने fear से दूर रहना है और आपको start करना है study करना. We always say MBOs for success. We always advise students, and in journal class we also advise students, please, repetition is very much necessary for understanding and grasping any provision. क्योंकि फर्स्ट टाइम यू आर गोइंग टू लर्न दिस, है ना, तो आपको समझना भी है, याद भी करना है, तो ऑलवेज डू प्रैक्टिस, रिटन प्रैक्टिस एंड लोड्स ऑफ प्रैक्टिस एंड रिपीटिशन. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, जैसे आज सर आपको पढ़ा रहे हैं, इट विल टेक 2 to 3 days to complete the AS22. but in 2 to 3 days में you have to revise the provision of this AS22 regularly. जो आज सबने पढ़ा है आज भी पढ़ेंगे, कल भी, परसों भी. Try to cover 3 days, कि आप उन 3 days में उन प्रोविजन को अगेन रिपीट कीजिए. सेम क्वेश्चंस को बेशक आप 3 days तक आप प्रैक्टिस कीजिए. Gradually when we are doing the practice and practice na, the most of the our problems or doubts automatically clear because there is a repetition. Or sometimes first time when we are going to read anything na, our mind is not going to accept it all. हमने प्रोविजन पढ़ा, देखा, बट हमें समझ में नहीं आया. लेकिन अगर हम उसी चीज को गिविंग रिपीटिशन आफ्टर 2 hours 3 hours या नेक्स्ट डे जब हम पढ़ते हैं तो हमें ऑटोमेटिकली ऐसा लगता है कि नाउ वी आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग इट. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आपको जो भी एएस के प्रोविजन है, जो भी एएस है, मिनिमम 3 days आपको उसको कंटिन्यूसली पढ़ना है, रीड करना है और सोल्व करना है. रिटन प्रैक्टिस इज
Okay,
वेरी
ma'am.
मच नेसेसरी. ओके, तो आप
Okay,
अपने
ma'am.
आप
Thank
में
you, ma'am.
इम्प्रूवमेंट फील करेंगे.
Thank you, ma'am.
यस प्रियांशी, यू कैन अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ.
Yes, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Priyanshi. Where is your energy? It's a morning today.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, my doubt is regarding exams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my biggest confusion is that we are left with very
Priyanshi,
less.
your voice is very low. Can you speak some loud?
Yes, ma'am. Now is it clear?
थोड़ा और वॉल्यूम बढ़ाना पड़ेगा. हाँ, बताइए. We are trying.
अच्छा मैम, एक्चुअली मेरा डाउट ये था रिगार्डिंग एग्जाम्स. माय बिगेस्ट कंफ्यूजन इज विथ रिवीजन एंड
Mm-hmm.
राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस,
Mm-hmm.
एज वी आर लेफ्ट विथ वेरी लेस टाइम and our session will be end by 20th of July, and we will be having means 1 to 1.5 hour, 1 to 1.5
Month.
months, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And in between that also we will be having mock test papers.
Mm-hmm.
That series we are having, we have the schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my doubt is that what should I do, means I have to do more and more of revisions or more and more of writing practice, because both of these
Revision
both are,
including with the written practice.
ma'am,
ठीक है.
because both of this will contain, means both of these will consume time, right?
I
And we are
know.
short of
But
time.
देखिए, जो टाइम प्रियांशी you are giving the time right now ना, it will give you more efficiency in your examining time. क्योंकि देखिए अभी आप पढ़ रहे हो, आपका यू आर गोइंग टू गिव द वन अटेम्प्ट, वन ग्रुप और बोथ ग्रुप.
Both groups, ma'am.
बोथ ग्रुप ना. एंड हाउ योर प्रिपरेशन आर गोइंग ऑन फॉर अदर सब्जेक्ट्स.
मैम ऐसा है कि जैसे जो होमवर्क मिलता है वो डेली बेसिस पे हो जाता है. दिस इज द ओनली थिंग.
दिस इज द ओनली थिंग्स. और जो आपने होमवर्क किया, क्या आप उसको रिवाइज भी करते हो?
रिवाइज होता है, लेकिन 2 बार से ज्यादा तो नहीं हो पाता है मैम, क्योंकि फिर जो रेगुलर सेशंस होते हैं तो डेली ही होमवर्क मिलता है, इसलिए.
बट डू वन थिंग. आप डेली बेसिस पे ना, राइट नाउ इट्स 6th of June, तो अभी हमारे पास एम्पल ऑफ टाइम है. रिवीजन डजंट मीन कि आपको रिवीजन सितंबर में स्टार्ट करना है. रिवीजन मीन्स फ्रॉम टुडे ऑनवर्ड्स आपको आज से रिवीजन स्टार्ट करना है. आप डेली अपने 2 hours या 1 hour आप अकॉर्डिंग टू योर टाइम टेबल ना, आप उसे सेपरेट रखो कि इन सब्जेक्ट्स का मुझे आधा आधा घंटा या 15-15 मिनट जो भी मैंने कल किया था वो मुझे आज रिवाइज करना है. टुडे जो आपको होमवर्क मिला है वो आपने कंप्लीट कर लिया है ना, लेकिन जो कल का है वो आज भी आपको रिवाइज करना है. उससे क्या है, आपका रिवीजन का जो साइकिल है वो कंटिन्यूस रहेगा. तो आपको ये नहीं रहेगा कि आपने रिवीजन नहीं किया, बिकॉज यू हैव लोट्स ऑफ सब्जेक्ट्स एंड लोट्स ऑफ सिलेबस. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि मैंने एक सब्जेक्ट कंप्लीट किया, उसके 1 महीने के बाद मैं जब दोबारा उठाऊंगी तो मुझे फिर से वही लगेगा कि अरे ये तो मैंने कभी पढ़ा ही नहीं. जब हम लोट्स ऑफ ब्रेक के बाद हम दोबारा उसी चीज को उठाते हैं तो कभी भी हमें वो याद नहीं रहता. हमें दोबारा फिर से वही मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. और हफ्ते में एक दिन आप जो भी आपका अगर संडे आपको फिक्स करना है, मंडे, जो भी एनी डे फिक्स कीजिए जिसमें आपने हफ्ते का सभी सब्जेक्ट्स का पूरा एक बार रिवाइज करना है. वो सिर्फ आपका रिवीजन का डे होगा. उसमें आपको कुछ नहीं करना. डेली होमवर्क आप कंप्लीट कीजिए. डेली का 1 घंटा है जो आपके प्रीवियस डे का आपको रिवाइज करना है. और वीकली 1 डे में आपको हफ्ते का सभी सब्जेक्ट का रिवाइज करना है. ये आपको करना ही पड़ेगा. उससे आपका क्या है, आपका रिवीजन साइकिल आपको कभी खत्म ही नहीं होगा. और रिटन प्रैक्टिस बहुत जरूरी है, चाहे वो किसी भी सब्जेक्ट की हो. इवन इट्स फॉर लॉ, टैक्स, अकाउंट. जब आप लिखते हैं तो ऑटोमेटिकली आप यू आर गोइंग टू प्रोग्रामिंग योर माइंड कि आपको लिखना और सोचना एक साथ कैसे है। ठीक है प्रियांशी?
यस मैम,
ट्राई
जैसे
टू
होता
दिस
है।
एक्सरसाइज फॉर 1 वीक एंड आफ्टर दैट वी विल डिस्कस अगेन कि आपको कितनी इंप्रूवमेंट फील हुई या स्टिल यू आर फेसिंग एनी प्रॉब्लम।
यस मैम, एक्चुअली क्या होता है ना कि जैसे मतलब जैसे जो सीनियर्स लोग होते हैं वो क्या कहते हैं कि रिवीजन पे ज़्यादा फोकस कीजिए आप, दैट इज मैंडेटरी। ठीक है। बट ऐसा भी होता है कि अगर हम ज़्यादा रिवीजन करेंगे तो उसके राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस भी तो चाहिए कि हमने जो रिवाइज किया है वो हमें आता भी है या नहीं आता है। एट द सेम टाइम अगर
मैंने
हम
आपको
लिखते हैं तो ये भी
प्रियांशी,
तो।
मैंने आपको इसलिए कहा है रिवीजन का मतलब, रिवाइज का मतलब सिर्फ आपको रीड आउट नहीं करना, रिवीजन मीन्स आपको रिटन प्रैक्टिस करनी है। ठीक है, एक होता है कि आपने रीडिंग कर ली, सिर्फ आपने रीड कर लिया, वो आप
हम्म।
बेशक जो आप 1 डे में रिवाइज कर रहे हो तो आप उसको रिवीजन करो, रिटर्न आप कर ही रहे हो, डेली होमवर्क कर रहे हो, और जो आपको 7th डे पे आप कर रहे हो वो आपको अपना सिलेक्शन करना है कि मुझे रिटर्न करना ही है। अब आपको शेड्यूल 3 का अगर प्रॉपर क्वेश्चन दिया जाए या अमेलगमेशन का या कंसोलिडेशन का, अगर आपने रिटर्न प्रैक्टिस एक बार भी नहीं की है तो आपके लिए बहुत प्रॉब्लम होगा एग्जाम में, क्योंकि आप उस चीज के लिए यूज टू ही नहीं है कि आपको कैसे फॉर्मेट बनाना है, कैसे आपको फिगर्स क्वेश्चन पेपर्स में से देख के कैसे आपको आंसर शीट में लिखनी है।
हाँ यस मैम।
है ना? तो रिटन प्रैक्टिस बहुत जरूरी है।
यस मैम, थैंक यू।
वेलकम। आफ्टर 7 days we will also again will discuss this. Okay?
यस मैम।
Tanisha, Tanu, anyone have any query you can ask, and students, you are all are requested to please give feedback for these classes. डेली बेसिस पे आपको फीडबैक जो फिल करना होता है प्लीज आपसे फिल के, ताकि हम उसमें और इम्प्रूवमेंट कर सके। दिस इज फॉर द बेटरमेंट बिकॉज आर फैकल्टी डूइंग लोड्स ऑफ वर्क फॉर यू। अचल सर, संकेत सर, ये भी आपके लिए बहुत प्रॉपर प्लानिंग करके आपको पढ़ाते हैं ताकि आपको कहीं पे भी कोई डाउट ना रहे। डेली बेसिस पे क्लासेस पे दे आर टेकिंग लोड्स ऑफ द क्वेरी, लेकिन स्टिल आपकी फिर भी कोई क्वेरी रहती है तो आप नेक्स्ट डे भी पूछ सकते हैं। इवन यू कैन मैसेज और द देर इज अ व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप, और ऑल्सो यू कैन सेंड योर क्वेरी थ्रू मेल। पवन, रोशन, शिव, सुनील, आप स्टूडेंट्स को कोई भी क्वेरी नहीं है? एनी डाउट? पवन, आर यू देयर? जूली? अच्छा सर, आई थिंक स्टूडेंट्स बहुत अच्छे से समझ गए हैं कि अब उनके सारे डाउट्स क्लियर हैं तो उन्हें जरूरत नहीं है।
Then I think they are ready for a test.
तो स्टूडेंट्स, आपका नेक्स्ट क्लास में आपका टेस्ट होगा तो बी प्रिपेयर्ड। अभी तक जितना भी आपका सिलेबस हो गया उसमें से कहीं पे भी हम पूछ लेंगे, एंड स्टिल वी आर गिविंग यू वन ऑप्शन ऑल्सो कि वी आर प्लानिंग टू कंडक्ट अ टेस्ट एंड ऑफ द क्लासेस। लास्ट के हमारी वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू वन थिंग ना, कि लास्ट के जो सर 2 सेशंस रहेंगे, जब हमारा पूरा एलवीसी कवर हो जाएगा तो हम स्टूडेंट्स के लिए कुछ क्विज टाइप रखेंगे ताकि स्टूडेंट्स के डाउट भी क्लियर हो जाए, और क्विज के थ्रू हमें पता लग जाएगा कि किस बच्चे के कहाँ डाउट है, तो हम थोड़ा सा रिवीजन टाइप करवा देंगे। सौम्या, प्रियांशी, आई थिंक सर nobody have any doubt.
Yeah, it's better you ask questions, otherwise we'll ask questions from you. Huh? I think Tanisha has a query now finally.
Tanisha is raising her
Anji,
hand. Yes,
Tanisha,
Tanisha.
yes.
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम।
Good morning.
मैम मुझे वैसे कोई डाउट नहीं है। सर
हम्म।
हर बार एक टॉपिक बार बार एक्सप्लेन करते हैं तो सारे डाउट उसमें ही क्लियर हो जाते हैं, और कोई कोई स्टूडेंट्स पूछ लेता है तो अगर कोई कंफ्यूजन होती है तो वो भी क्लियर हो जाता है।
बिल्कुल।
बट अभी जो आपने बताया कि कैसे रिवीजन करनी चाहिए, तो वही मेरा भी प्रॉब्लम था, वो भी सॉल्व हो गया है।
वेरी
सिर्फ
गुड।
यही पूछना था कि जो टेस्ट होने वाली है तो वो कैसे, मतलब क्या क्या पूछने वाले हैं, तो वो ही था कि
सरप्राइज टेस्ट
क्यूज
होगा।
टाइप। ओके, क्विज एमसीक्यू होगा या प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग होगा, यही पूछना था।
आप क्या चाहते हैं?
अ,
देखो,
मुझे
जो
तो दोनों
प्रॉब्लम
ही अच्छा।
सॉल्विंग है वी आर कंडक्टिंग एमटीपी फॉर दिस, है ना? तो वो तो कोई
यस।
इश्यू नहीं है। हमारा मेन पर्पस फोकस ये है कि जब बच्चे क्लासेस में पढ़ रहे हैं, समझ रहे हैं, अगर उनको मैं ऑन द स्पॉट कुछ प्रोविजन पूछती हूँ, कुछ एमसीक्यू टाइप पूछती हूँ, कुछ भी पूछती हूँ, अगर दे आर एबल टू गिव द आंसर दैट मीन्स कंसेप्चुअली दे आर स्ट्रॉन्ग।
यस
तो वो
मैम।
अगर क्वेश्चन जो भी आएगा उस क्वेश्चन में प्रोविजन से रिलेटेड कोई भी होगी तो वो सोल्व कर सकते हैं। ठीक है,
यस
तो
मैम।
बी प्रिपेयर। वो आपका सरप्राइज टेस्ट कभी भी हो सकता है। अभी मैंने आपको एक आइडिया दे दिया है ताकि आप वेल प्रिपेयर रहे। जितना अब तक आपका सिलेबस हो गया है उसमें से कुछ भी आ सकता है।
ओके मैम, थैंक यू।
ठीक है, some
यस
students are
थैंक
asking their query through chat box also. Rohan is asking, ma'am, are you talking about the surprise test? हाँ, सरप्राइज टेस्ट होगा लेकिन आज नहीं है। सरप्राइज टेस्ट कभी भी हो जाएगा। अचल सर, संकेत सर भी कभी भी ले सकते हैं।
Tanu has a query now.
यस तनु।
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम।
गुड मॉर्निंग तनु।
मैम मेरा एक क्वेरी है कि मतलब जो नंबर्स वाले क्वेश्चन होते हैं तो उसमें तो मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आती, बट जिसमें प्रोविजंस लिखने होते हैं ना तो उसमें मुझे मतलब मैं लिख नहीं पाती हूँ, तो बस मेरा यही क्वेरी है।
लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि हमें एएस में हर जगह प्रोविजन ही देना होता है। मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम तो हमें उसे कंसेप्चुअली सॉल्व करना होता है। आप अपनी लैंग्वेज में अगर आपको प्रोविजन पता है, जरूरी नहीं है कि वर्ड टू वर्ड आपको प्रोविजन की आपको लैंग्वेज प्रॉपर याद हो, लेकिन आपको कंसेप्चुअली तो पता होगा ना कि प्रोविजन क्या
यस
कहता है।
मैम, मुझे
हाँ, तो बस
कॉन्सेप्ट तो
आप वो लिख
क्लियर है।
लेना। एक तो आपको पैरा नंबर मेंशन करने की जरूरत नहीं है। ठीक है,
ओके मैम।
आपको पैरा नंबर कहीं पे भी एएस में मेंशन करने की जरूरत नहीं है। अगर आप श्योर हैं एएस के नेम में भी, आप उसके नंबर में श्योर हैं, तभी आप मेंशन करना। ठीक है, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम तो हमारे क्वेश्चन में गिवन होता है कि ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दिस एएस यू हैव टू गिव योर आंसर।
और मेरा मैम एक ये क्वेरी था कि मैंने सजेस्टेड आंसर्स देखे हैं तो उसमें मतलब उतने सारे प्रोविजंस लिखे होते हैं, उसमें डिटेल्ड आंसर्स दिए होते हैं, तो क्या जरूरी है कि हमें भी उतना सेम ही
तनु, इट्स
लिखना है या
डिपेंड
फिर
अपॉन द
मतलब हम
रिक्वायरमेंट
खुद से
ऑफ द
कम कर
क्वेश्चन।
सकते
नहीं नहीं, इट्स डिपेंड अपॉन द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन। अगर आपका 7 नंबर का क्वेश्चन है और उसमें आपसे, जैसे अगर AS2 की बात करें और उसमें आपसे कहा है कि कैलकुलेशन करनी है, आपको वैल्यू ऑफ इन्वेंटरी निकालनी है, तो वहां पे जरूरी नहीं है आपको प्रोविजन की पूरी डिटेल देनी है, आप उसे सॉल्व कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, लेकिन सम टाइम कुछ क्वेश्चन में, जैसे AS11 का क्वेश्चन है या AS9 का क्वेश्चन है, जिसमें रेवेन्यू रिकॉग्निशन के बारे में आपको बताना है कि अगर सेल्स हमारी डिले हो गई है, ठीक है, तो आप उस पर क्या
हैं। ओके
कंक्लूड
मैम।
करेंगे, तब आपको प्रोविजन के बारे में बताना पड़ेगा ना कि AS9 ये कहता है।
ओके मैम।
ठीक है,
क्योंकि मैम सेम डाउट था तो टैक्स के क्लास में तो सर ने बोला था कि आपको सारे प्रोविजंस लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है, जितना क्वेश्चन मतलब पूछ रहे हैं बस उतना ही लिख देंगे आप, उतना काफी है, तो मुझे लगा
आंसर
कि
एज पर द रिक्वायरमेंट
अकाउंटिंग।
ऑफ द क्वेश्चन। आपको क्वेश्चन की रिक्वायरमेंट जरूर पढ़नी है, बिकॉज मैनी स्टूडेंट्स मेक मिस्टेक्स कि रिक्वायरमेंट कुछ और होती है एंड दे गिव आंसर कुछ और, है ना। तो आपको हमेशा बैलेंस करके चलना है, जो क्वेश्चन ने पूछा है वही करना है। मैंने आपको बताया ना, कई बार सिर्फ आपसे कैलकुलेशन मांगी है, तो उसमें आपको प्रोविजन के बारे में इफ यू वांट टू गिव सम लाइंस, तो आप अपनी लैंग्वेज में बता सकते हैं कि प्रोविजन ये कहता है, क्योंकि समटाइम्स हमें एड ऑन करना ही होता है और कहीं
यस
स्पेसिफिकली
मैम।
पूछा है तो आपको वहां देना होगा।
यस मैम।
ठीक है,
यस मैम, सजेस्टेड आंसर्स में सॉल्यूशन भी होते हैं और उसमें प्रोविजन भी सेम, जो
सजेस्टेड
सॉल्यूशन हमने
आंसर
किया
में
है
हम प्रॉपर डिटेल
सेम।
लिखते देते हैं तनु, ताकि जब स्टूडेंट्स उनको रेफर करें ना तो उन्हें पता लगे कि इस क्वेश्चन को सोल्व किस तरीके से किया गया और इसका कनेक्शन कहाँ से है, ताकि आपको रेफरेंस के लिए भी इजी रहे।
ओके मैम, थैंक यू मैम।
वेलकम। Shiv, you are asking, ma'am, if every day after the class, all working sheet which is done by sir, please share as PDF format so that it will be help us. शिव, आई थिंक जितनी भी होती है आपकी जो रिवीजन के होते हैं क्वेश्चन, वो अपलोडेड होते हैं, और जो क्लासेस है हमारी जूम पे जो क्लासेस चल रही है साथ में यूट्यूब में भी अवेलेबल है, तो आप वहां से भी रेफर कर सकते हैं। रिकॉर्डेड क्लासेस आर ऑल्सो अवेलेबल। ठीक है, रोहन इज आस्किंग, मैम टॉपिक नहीं बताया जाएगा क्या। रोहन, ऑल टॉपिक्स विल बी कवर्ड। अगर आप चाहते हैं कि हम कुछ स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक कर करके टेस्ट लें तो हम वो भी वी कैन ऑल्सो कंडक्ट, बट आपको भी अपना फीडबैक देना पड़ेगा कि आप कैसे चाह रहे हैं। हम एंटायर सिलेबस का 1 डे में 2 डे में लें या हम कुछ बीच में ब्रेक कर करके लें, तो जैसा आप फीडबैक देंगे हम उसी के अकॉर्डिंग प्लान कर लेंगे। रोहन, आर यू लिसनिंग? यू कैन अनम्यूट। पवन इज आस्किंग एमसीक्यू का टेस्ट लीजिए मैम। ओके, देखते हैं पवन, एमसीक्यू भी होगा और बीच में हम कुछ भी देखते हैं कैसे करते हैं।
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम।
गुड मॉर्निंग।
मैम ब्रेक कर करके लिया जाए तो वो ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा, क्योंकि एक बार पूरा पढ़ के आना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा रिवीजन करके।
ठीक है, तो हम उसके अकॉर्डिंग शेड्यूल बना लेते हैं कि हम इन टॉपिक के लेंगे टेस्ट, आपकी
मैम
रिवीजन भी हो जाएगी। ठीक है
मैम एक जीएसटी टाइटन करके क्विज भी हुआ था, वैसे टाइप का अगर होगा तो और अच्छा रहेगा, क्योंकि वो बहुत अच्छा था
अच्छा
जीएसटी
ठीक है,
टाइटन वाला क्विज।
तो हम इस पॉइंट को भी, इस फीडबैक को भी हम कंसीडर कर लेते हैं।
यस मैम।
ठीक है। रोहन, यू आर आस्किंग अबाउट एमसीक्यूज एंड केस स्टडीज। केस स्टडीज और एमसीक्यू के लिए तो ना, जब हमारी रिवीजन क्लासेस होती है, देन वी कंडक्ट द रिवीजन क्लासेस फॉर 6 to 7 days। तो उसमें हम 2 सेशंस हमारे एमसीक्यूज और केस सिनेरियोज के लिए रखते हैं। इसमें भी अगर हम रखेंगे तो फिर वो डुप्लीकेशन हो जाएगा। अभी हमारा ये कि एंटायर सिलेबस कवर हो जाए, बच्चों को पहले अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो जाए, उसके अकॉर्डिंगली हम फिर केस सिनेरियोज पे चले जाएंगे। ठीक है। Julie is asking, "मैं hello ma'am, I'm actually currently a housewife." Okay. Julie, you can call us. Okay. You can send me a mail, asha.verma@ici.in। तो आप वहां पे मुझे मेल सेंड कर देना, नहीं तो accounting-inter@ici.in पे कर देना आप। ठीक है स्टूडेंट्स, अभी मुझे आपके काफी फीडबैक मिल गया। अकॉर्डिंग टू योर फीडबैक वी आर गोइंग टू प्लान एंड कंडक्ट दिस एमसीक्यू टेस्ट and any other kind of test. And with this, I think, Achal sir, we can wind up the class.
Yeah, we can wind up the class.
Okay. Thank you.
All
Thanks.
right.
Thank you, students.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone.
Over.
Yeah, over.
Over. Thank
Thanks.